There is a saboteur sleeping in your bed. It wears your face. It speaks with your cadence. It is the shadow that whispers poison into your ear the moment your eyes open. It is the internal propagandist that convinces you the world is hostile, that you are insufficient, and that catastrophe is imminent, that you believe this voice is your identity. You believe that the relentless churning of analysis, regret, and hypothetical terror is simply who you are. You are wrong. You are trapped in a hallucination, a fever dream constructed by a biological machine that has malfunctioned. You sit in this chair, your eyes on this screen, but you are not here. You are excavating the graves of mistakes from 5 years ago, trying to rewrite a script that has already been filmed. Or you are projecting yourself into a calamity that hasn't happened, sweating over tragedies that exist only in your imagination. Because you are time traveling, you are extinct in the present. You are a phantom haunting your own existence. The majority of the population rots in this condition. They spend decades locked in the dark room of their skull, bullied by a commentator they cannot silence. They call this life. They call this normal. It is neither. It is a form of madness, a standardized insanity of the modern era. But what happens when the broadcast cuts out? What happens when you rip the power cord from the machine? I am not selling you happiness. I am not telling you to chant affirmations or drug yourself with cheap distractions. I am speaking of a fundamental, violent psychological revolution, the execution of the false self. When you exit the simulation of your mind, the world does not just get quieter, it gets visceral. The resolution sharpens. The chaotic noise of time collapses into a singular, infinite point. Your presence becomes dense, heavy, unsettling to those who are still sleepwalking. You stop flinching and start operating. But to reach this state, we must perform surgery on your ego. We must expose the rotting machinery you have been protecting. You will feel an urge to turn this off. Your mind will resist. It will tell you this is too intense, too abstract, too confrontational. That is the saboteur trembling. It knows it is being hunted. Stay, because the power you crave is hidden behind this discomfort. Let's face the cold reality. 90% of your pain is manufactured. It is not derived from the external world. It is synthesized in the factory of your mind. The ancient Stoics understood this physics. The great Eastern masters mastered it. Science is only now writing the equations. Consider the mechanism of the double wound. The first wound is the event. You are rejected, you lose money, you get sick. This is reality. It stings. It is inevitable. But then comes the second wound. The second wound is the narrative you attach to the event. I was rejected, therefore I am worthless. I lost money, therefore I am a failure who will die in the gutter. The first wound happened once. The second wound you inflict upon yourself 1,000 times a day. You are addicted to the knife. Why? Because your brain is not engineered for contentment. It is engineered for survival in a hostile Pleistocene jungle. To your primitive hardware, silence looks like an ambush. So it generates noise. It scans for threats that aren't there. If your life is peaceful, your mind will sabotage it. It will invent conflict, paranoia, and crisis just to have something to solve. It operates on the delusion that if you worry enough, you can manipulate reality. This is the great fraud of overthinking. The belief that anxiety is a form of control. It is not. It is friction. You are revving the engine in neutral until the pistons melt. You are generating heat, but no motion. Living in this mental fog creates a blindness. You do not see people, you see projections. You interact with avatars created by your insecurities. If you feel inferior, you will hallucinate condescension in a compliment. If you feel guilty, you will hallucinate judgment in a glance. You destroy relationships not because of what the other person did, but because of the movie playing in your head. You are screaming at a screen while the real person stands there baffled. You are fighting ghosts in a hall of mirrors, breaking your own hands on the glass. What is the tax you pay for this? What does this addiction cost you? It costs you your reality. When you are lost in the loop, you are numb. You don't taste the meat, You don't feel the cold water. You don't connect with the eyes looking at you. You are skimming across the surface of life like a stone, never sinking into the deep. But the tactical cost is higher. Living in your head makes you prey. A man trapped in thought is slow. He processes, he hesitates, he doubts. In the wild, the creature that pauses to think is the creature that gets eaten. The man who is truly present, who is void of internal chatter and filled with pure observation, is a lethal instrument. Look at the masters of combat, the titans of business, the virtuosos. In the zone, there is no thought. There is only flow. The mind goes dark. The instinct takes the wheel. Action and perception fuse. When you are trapped in your skull, you are leaking power. Your brain is a calorie furnace. Overthinking is running a marathon while sitting in a chair. This is why you are chronically drained. You are fighting a civil war inside your own biology, and the world senses this weakness. We are social animals. We smell fear. When a man is living in his head, he vibrates with anxiety. His eyes shift. He waits to speak. He seeks approval. Do you follow this man? No. Do you fear him? No. Now visualize the inverse. Visualize a man who is utterly grounded in the now. He does not fidget. He does not scan. He listens with a silence that is almost predatory. He requires nothing from you. He is not trying to prove a point. He is simply a camera recording high-definition reality. That presence is magnetic. It is commanding. It is true authority. When you kill the noise, you become that gravity. You become the immovable object. The storm rages, but you are the eye. But to achieve this, you must answer the impossible question. Who are you? Are you your title? No. Are you your bank account? No. Are you your emotions? No. Are you your thoughts? This is the fatal error. You equate the voice with the self. Do the test right now. Close your eyes. Ask your mind, what is the next thought? And watch. Wait like a sniper. Do you see that gap, that fraction of a second of pure silence before the noise rushes in? In that gap, you exist. The thought does not. If you can observe the thought, you cannot be the thought. The viewer is not the screen. You are the consciousness behind the machine. The voice is just an algorithm. It outputs data. I am anxious. I am angry, and they are laughing at me. It is just code. The tragedy is that you execute every line of code as if it were a divine command. You merge with the, I am sad. No, the correct syntax is, I observe sadness. This is the cold, detached mastery of the psyche. It is standing on the riverbank, watching the sewage float by, rather than jumping in and drowning in it. This is not about suppression. You cannot silence the mind by force. That is like trying to flatten waves with a hammer. You only create more chaos. You let the machine run, you let it whine, you let it predict doom, but you revoke its clearance. You treat your mind like a hysterical child. If a child ran up to you screaming that the sky is falling, would you panic? Would you debate them? No, you would pat their head and continue your work. When you stop feeding the monster with your attention, it starves. Why is this so difficult? If the key is simply watch and don't touch, why do you fail? Why do you return to the cage? Because you are in love with your own suffering. You will deny this. You will say you want peace. But in the darkest basement of your subconscious, you cherish the pain. The pain gives you a shape. Who are you without your trauma? Who are you without your struggle? If you drop the narrative, you would have to face the terrifying vastness of the present. You would have to accept total responsibility. The voice provides an excuse. It explains why you are stuck. It builds a shrine to your victimhood. And the ego prefers to be a miserable king than a happy nobody. To escape the head, you must be willing to commit suicide of the self-image. You must burn the script. This is the shadow work. This is the ego death. It is realizing that you are a fiction. When you step back into the seat of the observer, you become nothing. You become pure awareness. This terrifies the ego. It screams, look at me, worry about me. It brings up your debts, your ex-lovers, your deepest shames. It is throwing a tantrum to keep you enslaved. Let it burn, stand in the flames, and do not flinch. This is the path of power. It is not for the fragile. It is easier to be a slave to the noise than a master of the silence. But the prize is absolute sovereignty. When you are no longer defined by your thoughts, you become bulletproof. Insults are just sound waves. Failure is just data points. You become like water, yielding yet eroding stone. What lies on the other side? When the internal monologue dies, the world is reborn. You encounter the silence, not an empty silence, but a charged electric stillness. You stop living for the next moment. You realize that now is the only reality that has ever existed. The past is a ghost. The future is a fantasy. When you align with the now, fear dissolves. Fear requires the future to survive. You cannot fear the present. You can only act in it. You become a machine of efficiency. Procrastination dies because procrastination is just thinking about the work instead of doing it. You see the task, you execute the task. Zero friction. Your relationships mutate. You stop using people as mirrors for your ego. You see them nakedly, and because you see them, they trust you. They reveal themselves. You become a lie detector, and you become dangerous. I use that word with intent. A man who cannot be manipulated by his own mind and cannot be manipulated by the world. Marketing fails. Guilt trips fail. Social pressure fails. You see the strings. You become a glitch in the system. You walk through society like a lucid dreamer, knowing it is a game, and because you are detached, you play it better than those who are drowning in it. The voice will not vanish tonight. You have spent a lifetime training it to scream. It has momentum. Tomorrow morning, the machine will boot up. I am tired. I am behind. I am afraid. Catch it. That is the drill. Do not judge the thought, just spot it. Ah, the machine is running. Then return to your breath. Return to your hands. Return to reality. Do this 50 times a day, then 500. Every time you yank your focus out of the hallucination and back to the physical world, you are doing a repetition. You are forging the neural pathways of a god. Eventually the gaps will widen, the silence will deepen, and one day you will walk out the door and realize the narrator has left the building. And for the first time, you will see the escape button. Not the word sky, but the infinite, indifferent void itself. If you understand what I have just said, you know this is only the tip of the iceberg. I am limited by the guidelines of this platform. There are truths about human psychology and manipulation that are too volatile for the public feed. The algorithm suppresses the real weaponry. That intel is locked behind the join button. If you are still listening, you are not a tourist. Subscribe if you want the basics. But if you want the keys to the kingdom, click the join button and enter the architect level. You will access the uncensored archives that dismantle the human psyche. Most people will scroll past. Let them. That is the filter.